So after the fall of the Han Dynasty, there was no form of central government. The different groups of people in China were not united. Um, because of this, some of the countries on the outside that they had overtaken, like Korea, um, were like Korea was freed from Chinese rule and they ended up becoming their own country. So it eventually became more unified. Emperor Wendy started the Sui dynasty. His son Yangdi created the Grand Canal, which was a system of waterways connecting the two great rivers. And water was very important, and like access to water. And so that was great. But then it only lasted for those two guys, and then they got taken over by the Tang dynasty. Um, so one of Yang Di's generals took over and made himself emperor. He was the one who brought back the strong central government. After him was Emperor Taizong, and then there was a female empress named Empress Wu, and she ruled the country by herself. She was the only woman to do so. Um, at this time, there was a lot of growth and trade. Chinese cities became very wealthy because of this. After them came the Song Dynasty. There was a lot of economic prosperity, so people were wealthy and had what they needed. There were a lot of cultural achievements at this time as well. So now we're going to talk about Buddhism in China. At this time, Buddhist monks and nuns lived in monasteries, which are religious communities where they would devote their lives to studying Buddhism. Tang officials saw Buddhism as the enemy and destroyed a lot of places of worship. So the Tang Empire, they devoted themselves to Confucianism, which was one of the other philosophies we learned about. At this time, there was a revival of Confucian ideas. Neo-Confucianism was created, which is a new form of Confucianism. There was a lot of economic growth at this time. Within the world of farming, they created new types of rice, which made for more food, and tea became very popular at this time as well. There was more trade. They were able to travel more easily using roads and waterways, and they sold a lot of luxury items or items that you don't necessarily need. So mostly the rich people would buy them. They would buy silk and porcelain, so they could sell these things for a lot of money. There were also technological advances. They figured out that they could mine for coal to create heat, and they could also make steel. They started printing, which made it easier to make books, and they also started using paper money at this time. Gunpowder and large ships were also invented. Using the rudder that was invented earlier, they were able to travel further distances using these big ships. At this time, literature and the arts were thriving. There were a lot of poets at this time, and people enjoyed painting landscapes or just like outdoor scenery. So as you can tell, a pattern here is that when there's a family or someone in power for a long period of time, like hundreds of years, there's usually prosperity. There's like lots of trade, there's lots of art, cultural advances, religious advances, and things like that.